Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. So something that's really common now in the fitness industry, whether you look on social media, maybe a blog post, podcast, or something, is 100% customized workouts. And I can honestly say that for each one of my clients, their program is specifically tailored to them. It's tailored to the equipment they have available, how many days a week they are wanting or are able to work out, and then what their specific goals are. But every single client's program is based off the same foundation, right? Strength is what we're going towards in the gym, right? We're not looking to burn as many calories as possible. We're looking to get stronger. So a lot of the structure of the workout is going to be very similar, right? And it's not that I'm knocking other coaches who are saying, you need a custom program, don't follow this guy's program. To be honest, no matter what program you follow, if you follow it, you're going to get good results, right? You can buy a magazine. You can go online and buy, a $49 program of somebody and follow it. And if you're consistent with it, you're going to see good results. The value of a coach isn't for a custom workout plan. Now, there's going to be some things depending on whether, you have injuries or maybe you're lacking mobility and something. And so that's going to be tailored towards for you, right? If you don't have a lot of external rotation of the shoulder, right, then doing some exercises at you're having your coach add some exercise in to help improve that is going to be beneficial, right? And so obviously that is going to be customized for you. But the honest truth is that you can really find a program online. You can find, you can follow your best friend's program. And as long as you follow it, for the most part, unless you're just, you don't know how to do something, or, you already have some injuries that are limiting you from participating in it, from completing the program, then you're going to see good results as long as you're consistent. The value of hiring a coach is that they're able to make it fit into your schedule. They're able to help you create a structure to follow when life happens, right? If you're a dad with 2, 3, 4 kids, right, your schedule is going to look a little different than a single guy in his 20s who has no kids, right? You're obviously probably going to struggle at times to follow a program that's asking you to work out 3 to 4 days a week. But could you follow a program that is customized to the equipment you have at home, as well as the potential opportunity to be able to go to the gym or maybe the hotel gym when you're traveling? Could you follow a program that allows for some leeway there? Absolutely, right? A lot of these programs are very rigid. If you buy a program online, don't expect customizations, right? If you don't have that equipment, then you're gonna have to make it do on your own. Maybe they have a support team or something to help you out, but a lot of those are you pay for the PDF. It gives you all the information, and most of it, to be honest, is really good. There's a lot of I've bought a lot of programs over the years that I followed, and they're very well put together. The problem with some of those is you're not really sure. If something goes wrong, you get off a week, you're not really sure what to do. You don't have that support. So that's really the value of a coach, having somebody walk you through the program, right? The value of a coach isn't just to create a workout program for you, right? Now, could the program a coach creates for you be better than something you find online? Absolutely, but it's not necessarily going to be, right? There's a lot of people online who make a ton of money, simply selling programs. And, that's great. That's great. It's awesome that they're able to put that information out there. But if you don't have, that relationship, if you don't have that communication with the coach, you haven't built that trust with them, then you're probably not going to be as likely to follow through with that program, right? But if you've built a relationship with the coach, they're able to work with you, create a plan to help you stay on track when you're traveling, when you get sick, when your kids get sick, when an event pops up or something like that, then there's a greater chance you're going to stick to it long term. And so Do you need a program that is 100% customized to you? To be honest, that's up to you. That's up to you. If you have some, ailments first, I'd probably, talk to a doctor, a physical therapist, a medical professional, somebody who is qualified, somebody who legally can, give you advice on that. That's going to be number one, right? But then number two, a lot of coaches, specialize in certain areas, right? If you're looking to, hire somebody who is going to help build with muscle, help hypertrophy, get bulky, kind of put on some size, then obviously hiring a coach who specializes in weight loss probably isn't going to be you know the best solution for you. And so, look around, do your due diligence. Don't just sign up for the first coach you see. A lot of times, actually most of the time, I'd say when I have a new client, they've talked to other people, that maybe they've done another program or something like that. And, I encourage that, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, right? I've had multiple coaches myself, and I learned something from every single one of them. And just because you learn from one coach, just because they have a program for you, doesn't mean that's going to be the last program you ever do, right? When my goal for all my clients is to be able to help create a structure for them that allows them to succeed for the rest of their life, right? I call it creating your fit life. What does your fit life look like? For me right now, that's about 3 to 4 workouts a week, right? That's what's allowed in my schedule right now. It works well for me. I try and get 2 to 3 cardio days in. Lots of times that's just going for a walk. But if you've ever heard of programs like Insanity, T25, things like that, I used to do those. And I really enjoyed those. And every once in a while, I'll still do those for a cardio workout because they're fun. I like them. And I think that's really important too. You have to have fun. It has to be something you enjoy, right? If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to stick with it, right? And so find something that works for you. But my goal for all my clients is to help create a foundation for them that they can stick with. And so right now they only have 2 days a week they can work out. Awesome, let's do that. How can we fit this in to your schedule? If that's one day, maybe we need to move some things around. But if one day is all you got right now, let's do that. If you have 3 days, awesome. Things start to slow down. Maybe your kids aren't doing sports in the winter or something like that. You have a little bit more time to commit, then awesome. We'll ramp it up a little bit. But my goal isn't necessarily for me to be the last coach you ever work with. That some clients I've worked with for multiple years. The majority of my clients work with me somewhere between 12 weeks and 6 months, right? And so I try and create a foundation for them that they can continue to build off. For some, I've had clients who've come back to tell me, 2 years later, I've been following the plan we created together, and I'm still seeing results, and that's awesome, right? Just like with anything, though, sometimes you have to have different mentors, different people in your life to take you to that next level, right? I hired a business coach a long time ago. I've hired 2 to 3 since then for different spots I was at in my life, right? And so, there a lot of these programs you do, I think a lot of people get caught like, this is what I used to do. I used to have good results in this. It's not working for me anymore. That's okay. You can switch things up. You can always come back to it. There's different workouts I do. I hired a coach back in December that I worked with for about 12 weeks. I was working out 5 days a week, and the workouts were awesome, right? But I had to kind of back off that because right now, 3 to 4 days is what's kind of working for me, right? And I focused on muscle gain at times, focused on fat loss at times, focused on maintenance, and so there's different phases. And once you find a routine that you can stick with, once you get and make exercise a habit, then you can start to have a little bit more leeway. You can start to kind of get away with more, not necessarily get away from the basics. A lot of the basics are always going to work. You can continue to progress on those forever, but sometimes you might want to focus on a certain area. You may want to focus on improving your cardio, working on long distance running. Maybe you want to focus on aesthetics. Maybe you want to do bodybuilding or something. Maybe you got really into fitness and you just love it now and you want to compete in bodybuilding, maybe powerlifting and something like that. And so it's really finding something that works for you. But to begin with, you don't necessarily need to have something that's 100% customized to you, right? A great coach is going to find what you're able to do, what you're able to stick with, what fits into your schedule but also keep in mind the principles of strength training, right? Progressive overload, knowing there's this fine balance between, you know, figuring out, what works best for clients and also what works best in practice, right? And so, like, we know the science of it. We know that if we want to continue to build muscle, we want to continue to get stronger, we have to keep, progressing on certain lifts. And so switching things up all the time isn't the best way to gain muscle, isn't the most efficient way to get you to where you want to go. And so a great coach is going to be able to work with you, right? But if you're somebody who maybe doesn't have the money to invest in a coach right now, find a program, ask a coach, right? You can ask me, send me a message. I'm thinking about following this program. I'd really like to invest in coaching, not really in the budget right now. What do you think of this program? What do you think of this? I have the equipment. I feel like I can really stick with this. I've created a plan to follow through. Do you think it'll work for me, right? And so, like, reach out to coaches. I know for me personally, if you reach out, I will get back to you as soon as I can. Even if you're not a paying client, I'm going to do my best to help you. And I know a lot of other coaches as well. If you need a recommendation on a great coach, maybe we're not a great fit for each other, and that's okay. I'm not the coach for everybody, and that's okay. That's I think that's really important too. Kind of have that self-awareness, right? I want to make sure I can help you, and if I'm not the ideal coach for you, that's okay. I'm gonna help you find somebody that is. I know a lot of great coaches I can help refer you to, but finding a program that works for your schedule, that works for your life is really what's most important. Having it customized, obviously, to your availability, your equipment needs, the time you're able to kind of commit to it and everything is what's most important there. But the principles of strength training don't really change. And so, although there is some customization in clients' programs, there probably isn't as much as some people are making it out to be.
That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.